couldn't even make this up if you tried. Alright, so this is going to be one of the craziest VGC exposed videos I've ever done. What I need everyone to comment down below, like the video, share it with everyone, because the information needs to get out about a top 16 Worlds competitor using hacked Pokemon at official VGC events. And it's so blatantly obvious. Like, I'm just going to start it off right now before anyone can say, oh, you're just making stuff up. That is an Incineroar inside of a Premier Ball, and it's a shiny Incineroar with a full shiny team except for the Totem Mimikyu. Come on, guys, it's so blatantly obvious the dude is cheating. And the reason why I need everyone to like and share this video is because I've discovered something interesting about YouTube lately. That if a video gets about 40% dislikes or more, it stops getting promoted by the algorithm. Like, the video just dies. Now, what this means is that videos can effectively be censored by just mass disliking them. And also, there's been a pretty massive dislike botting attack on my channel recently. And the weird thing is, it's like specifically targeting hacking and VGC videos. So, my channel is trying to be censored from getting this information out there, which is why we just need to do this manually. You know, this isn't going to go into YouTube recommended videos and stuff. It's just going to be hated on. It's going to be attacked too much. So we need this to manually be spread, liked, loved as much as possible, and try to give it a chance from all of the attacks trying to suppress this information. Like, that's how crazy it is. And another thing that makes it even crazier is, like, I'm wondering if this information is being suppressed by the Pokemon Company. That a couple of outlets, a couple of people, they picked this up. They were tweeting about how there was this illegal Incineroar at an official VGC event, and it seems like nothing is being done about it. And then I went onto the Pokemon website to look up this event, and it doesn't exist. Like, so I looked up specifically mid-season showdowns, because this is a mid-season showdown, which is effectively like a mini regionals, and has a pretty hefty point value behind it. So it's very important. It's like, oh, this is just an unofficial event, the guy's cheating, so it's okay. No, that's not what this is at all. This is someone that's cheating, which is effectively stealing points from other people that could have qualified instead. So that's why this is a pretty big issue, that this is a really big problem that we see at, like, premier events, mid-season showdowns, and even regionals. Is that people show up with hacked Pokemon, they're not as well regulated, or people just kind of look the other way when it comes to hacked Pokemon, as I've shown time and time again on this channel. And because of that, legitimate players, they're not able to earn the points, therefore they can't qualify to Worlds, which is why the top players in VGC right now, it's just majority cheaters. It's just tainted with people using hacked Pokemon. And so I went onto the website, and I looked up mid-season showdowns from December 10th to January and, like, all the way down. Look at that, guys. This event isn't here. Now, one theory I have about this is that the Pokemon Company could have potentially scrubbed this listing once all of the hacking allegations blew up, because they were trying to hide the information about a top 16 Worlds competitor using hacked Pokemon at an official event. It took me quite some time to actually find a listing, to find the VOD, to find all the details about this information, because the Pokemon Company website no longer had the result. And that made it just a little more interesting. Now, to be fair, there is a chance that maybe the Pokemon Company forgot and they didn't update it for this mid-season showdown, but kind of doesn't make sense considering there's a lot of other events before and after that have already been posted. And this is a very important mid-season showdown because this is the first event that has the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon rules. So yeah, I'd imagine that that'd be pretty important. Also, it took place in a pretty populated area and it was picked up by a lot of VGC players as well. Now, fortunately, a fan in my Discord server was able to find this event listing right here. Thank you very much, Annie, for the hookup. January 1st, 2018, Winter Mid-Season Showdown, hosted by Pokemon Labs, which is how I was able to find their Twitch channel. They have VODs of some other events that they've hosted as well. And this is an official event. We have many people talk about it. Gavin Michaels, he is one of the commentators. 2013 U.S. National Champion, 2017 California Regional Champion, number 7 in A, and then top 32 Worlds 2017. So a pretty high-tier competitor. Also just kind of like showing that this is an official event and stuff. Note, this is still the first 2018 event. Singapore started 1:30 p.m. January 1st, and we'll be sure to start earlier. So we have a sanctioned event that's also being run by ex-VGC players. It has, like, VGC players working with them, and then inside of all that, we have a top competitor using blatantly hacked Pokemon, and then also a full team of shiny Pokemon. Now, one thing that kind of gets me is that people will criticize it when I say that a full team of shiny Pokemon is more likely to be hacked, even though time and time again on the channel we've been able to show that, sure, if this was just all shiny Pokemon and Totem Mimikyu, it would be questionable, but we really wouldn't have anything else on it. The Premier Ball Incineroar is absolutely 100% impossible. The current breeding mechanics in the game make it impossible because you only receive the starter Alolan Pokemon inside of Pokeballs, and Pokeballs only transfer between Pokemon of the same species. Now, there was never a Premier Ball event that could breed down. Dittos will never pass over their balls into other Pokemon as well, so that means it's just absolutely impossible to have an Alolan starter Pokemon outside of a Pokeball at this time. So I mean, that proves it's hacked right there, and then the full shiny team just backs it up. The guy just blatantly hacking his team right there, and then people are getting mad at me like, oh, you can't say when it's a full shiny, even though it makes the odds of, you know, having a legit competitive team not that hard. But then having a team of full competitive shiny Pokemon, the odds are in 1 in tens, if not hundreds of thousands, because that's hundreds of hours of grinding just for a team that you might not use fully, you know? This is another thing that happens, that you don't just have 6 shiny Pokemon and then you run that team forever. You're going to mix up your team, you're going to do different things. And when it comes to hacking and the accessibility of PK Hex and stuff, it's just much more likely they're going to do that, click the shiny button, and then it's just kind of a dead giveaway when we see some other stuff like this going on. So now the question is, who is Alejandro Jimenez? Well, top 16 2016 Worlds competitor. Here's his team, here's his page right here. And another really interesting thing about Worlds 2016 is that legendary Pokemon were allowed, and it seems like a majority of the top 16 players were using illegal Pokemon, that they had like specific natures, specific IVs, specific hidden powers and data values and stuff like that just didn't seem possible, because getting a 6 IV legendary Pokemon, if you're not using one, you're going to be at a competitive disadvantage, and really the only way of getting them is through hacking because of the incredibly low odds. I already talked about Wolfe Glick and a lot of the other top players as well, so the nature of the format made hacking a very high possibility. Also, Wolfe Glick, he'd already used an illegal Raichu earlier on in the year, and then he just had a pretty much impossible Raichu, that there were no guaranteed IVs, but had perfect IVs, in the odds are in the hundreds of millions and stuff for getting something like that. A lot of the other players, like they were doing VGC reports, it was just very suspicious how they would have, you know, the 0 attack, perfect nature Kyogre, just like that. And then they were able to get multiple of these legendaries, as they say, to kind of change up their team throughout the year and throughout Worlds. So, you know, there was a massive hacking problem there, and I think this just kind of shows that there's some kind of protection. That a lot of the VGC players, they're looking out for each other, that they have like a source gen, or they're genning the Pokemon themselves. And I mean, I was also able to expose that in another video as well. That, you know, there's just like a lot of VGC players talking with other VGC players, they're like, oh, I can PK extra team, I can make teams for you, I can create Pokemon, and stuff like that. So because of that, they have it down to a science. I've already exposed so many different times in so many different ways. Now, one crazy thing that I've also shown is that hackers and VGC players work together to disassemble the hack check, therefore they can hack Pokemon even better that will never be caught. You know, a favorite ask of capable London competitors, dump me a copy of your save file post battle box, preferably before as well. That way this guy can analyze the save file and figure out what's going on. And then VGC players actually came, like, just stepped up and said, yeah, well, I'll do it. So we have this guy right here, Puddles VGC. I can maybe do it if I get my hands around a computer sometime. Only back home on Monday. So the way that you can dump a save file is by having a modified save or a hacked game as well. So that kind of just shows, like, these people are coming up like, yeah, I've got a hacked game, and don't worry, I'll give you the modified save file and all kinds of stuff like that. And now let's get back to Alejandro, whose handle is @LegacyVGC, and he's blocked me on Twitter. So this is kind of a thing that I've seen. Whenever I've like exposed someone for hacking or getting ready to expose them for hacking, I'm blocked on them by Twitter, because honestly, there's really no reason to block me on Twitter. All I am is an advocate of legitimate play in VGC. So this is a little questionable right here personally. And also, I don't remember if I've been blocked by him before, when I was blocked. Maybe that the information came out that, oh, his Incineroar attacked and he blocked me preemptively. I don't really know what happened right there. I'm going to pull up this page. So now what we need to do is we need to go on to a private browser so I can figure out what is going on. Just give me 1 second. There we go. So, Legacy VGC. Pokemon VGC player, Worlds 2016 top cut, and then also has CP count of 50 right now, and he's tweeting out about the events. Now, one thing that I like doing is kind of like what I showed earlier. A lot of the VGC players, you know, they collude together, they work together, they cover for each other in this kind of weird way. So he's tweeting out Gavin Michaels, talking about the event and stuff. Also, he was tweeting about this as well, 40 points away from first on BattleSpot worldwide, and this happens where the odds, so pretty much just gets like some freeze hacks or something, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about how the almost #1 player on the BattleSpot is using a hacked Pokemon, and that's the same hacked Snorlax that he brought to the event. So that's a little questionable right there. And then also what I like doing is I like looking for those connections. That, you know, we see that they collude together, they work together to either protect each other from like VGC accusations and stuff, like Joshua Lorsi. Can't defend it. That Beast Ball Porygon, 100% impossible, 100% illegal. What happened? No punishment, nothing from the players. If anything, the VGC community defended him against my attacks of making the accurate 100% truthful claim that he used an illegal Pokemon and should have punishment. Because of that, he's cheating in an official event. So they all look out for each other, they all defend each other, which is why you just kind of gotta look at for tweets like this. Missed top cut in the open, got 50 CP. Thanks Gengar Boy for the skeleton of the team. Now, I don't know what that means, like skeleton team, is he just working with him to make the teams together? Or also is it just kind of like, here's an idea, here's a rough idea, gin up this team and then go try it out for yourself or something like that. So who is Gengar Boy? Gengar Boy, WolfeyVGC, former committed VGC player, also talk about like being a 3 times regional champion and stuff like that. And then he also has this picture from Worlds. So Worlds 2017, US Day 2 invites, where he's taking a picture with all the boys, and we get some common names back here. So Gavin Michaels, he's in the picture with Riley, who is also in contact with Alejandro, who is the hacker in this case. We also have Nails OU. Nails OU is a very interesting and very special case, which is why I brought this page up earlier. 1 second. Nails OU is the guy that doxed Wolfe Glick. So they all just work together. They all just collude together. It's crazy. So what Nails OU did was that he doxed Wolfe Glick. He abused his admin privileges on Pokemon Showdown to get Wolfe Glick's IP address to confirm that an alt was being used by Wolfe Glick, and then using that to gain an unfair advantage at the team that Wolfe Glick is practicing with, but trying to hide as well. What gets me about this is, why would anyone want to be seen? Why would anyone want to be friends with someone who is abusing their power and doxing other players? Now, the VGC community, it's very cutthroat, you know, there's cliques and stuff, but they all like work together to make sure their hacking goes undetected, doesn't get caught and stuff like that. There was an assault at one of the events that kind of divided the community. You know, people were picking sides as to who they just liked more and who they agreed with more and stuff like that, instead of actually trying to figure out who was right and who was wrong. So, I mean, there's just a lot of issues going on with VGC, and yet another hacker has been caught. So, I don't really know what to say. Pokemon Company, of course they're not going to do anything about it. That's why I want you guys to share this video, get the information out there. Pokemon Company needs to step up. They need to, you know, have more regulation for all of these official events. They need to be able to, they need to have non-corrupt judges. Like, after I do a video like this, I get tons of messages. Hey, I'm a VGC judge, I run premier event, so-and-so, not telling you where, but I allow hacked Pokemon. I even help PK hex people's teams if they want to be using them for the event. You know, it's all about the turnout, not about the legitimacy. So we have judges, we have organizers looking out and defending other players from hacking. We have the Pokemon Company themselves not enforcing their rules properly. And it's all just everyone's looking out for each other. Hopefully I can get more information out about this. I'm actually surprised. I thought that after I got Lorcy, nothing else would happen in VGC. It seems like a lot of them have been very careful about it. Like, I just didn't think I'd have much news about VGC. But here we have it. Top 16 world competitor, hacking his Pokemon, cheating the game. And the community probably gonna get mad at me instead of actually seeking justice. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.